I used to think that being that girl was the goal. Perfect routines, flawless habits, always being put together. But then I realized it wasn't enough. In fact, it wasn't even me. What I actually needed to become that woman. And by becoming her, the difference was huge. If you're ready for a life that actually works for you and doesn't just look good on paper, let's talk about what it means to step into being that woman, fully confident, in control, and living life on your own terms. Well, welcome back to my channel, my friends, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Christy, and I make content centered around realizing that no matter where we are in life, no matter our age, we are just on time to live the life of our dreams. When I started exploring why the that girl trend wasn't really hitting for me, I saw some really clear differences between what it means to be that girl and what it means to be that woman. And here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with being that girl. It is a really great start to figure out how to come into your own. You get a chance to practice making your needs and your dreams a priority, which very often as women, we don't do. We neglect it. But when you are fully grown with a thriving career, bills to pay, a home to keep, and balancing responsibilities with your femininity, trying to be that girl just isn't good enough. Being that woman requires a whole other level of intentionality because you're approaching the world with a different level of experience and maturity. While the aesthetic and the routines may look very similar, the intent and the mindset, very different. As I was looking into this for myself, I found that there were four main differences between being that girl and being that woman. That girl follows trends even when they don't fit her. That woman defines success on her own terms. When you hear that girl, I am sure a very clear idea comes to mind of what that looks like. She is waking up early, wearing cute pajamas as she journals and drinks her lemon water. She puts on a henna makeup along with a perfectly curated workout set, goes and does 45 minutes of HIIT, or maybe she does Pilates, which of course produces very little sweat. And then after an indulgent shower with no exposed toiletries, she's ready to start the day. Oh, and of course I can't forget, she ends her day reading 10 pages of a nonfiction book, followed by a 20-minute skincare regimen before she falls asleep right at 9 o'clock. She's good to go. I'm sure I missed a few things, but you get the idea. And don't get me wrong, it's cute. In fact, I like doing a lot of those things myself. But why is that the common idea of what it means to be that girl? Because it is something that somebody once said, somebody else co-signed, and then it just stuck. What we often ignore is that that girl builds her life around a set of systems and routines that others define about how she should live and what she should do, without always questioning what parts of that aesthetic are most beneficial to her. It's what people say that you're supposed to do, and so that's what she does. And what it does is provides this external validation that she is living her life in a way that others see as acceptable. She does all of these good and productive things, even if they don't matter to her, even if they don't fit within her lifestyle, because she's still learning what she likes and how to be able to navigate the world. On the flip side, being that woman means defining what works for you, whether or not it is trendy or popular. That woman doesn't wake up early just because TikTok told her to do so. She wakes up early because she knows that before she pours into everyone else, her own cup needs to be filled, whether that is through prayer or journaling or quiet time or reflection. She prioritizes herself, her needs, her dreams so that she can fully pour into others as well. When I was trying to wake up at 5 a.m. because it sounded good and it was the thing to do and this thing all of these other successful people were doing, I could not stick to it because I didn't really have any skin in the game. But once I had my own reasoning and my own why behind it that I was connected to, and I saw how waking up early impacted my life, my day to day, but then also future me, I've had absolutely no problem waking up early on a consistent basis without a whole lot of like conversation and to do about it because I'm connected to it. I'm doing it on my own terms. If she's sleep deprived, hasn't gotten enough rest because of factors that are beyond her control, then she's self-aware enough to know whether or not waking up at that same time is going to be of benefit to her or it's going to hinder her progress, and then she adjusts accordingly. When making decisions, her primary focus isn't about how others are going to perceive her, all the ways that people are going to be jealous of her, or keeping up with the Joneses, even if they have a life filled with stuff that she doesn't actually want. No, 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 ma'am. That woman makes decisions based off of what she needs, what she likes, what works well for her, because she knows that she doesn't need to box herself into this one size fits all mold. She validates herself. That girl looks put together but struggles internally. That woman understands that attractiveness is a full self experience. That girl, she's cute, but she views attractiveness as something to be achieved through external validation. Everything about her is carefully curated so that she's accepted. Her beauty routine, her fitness habits, even her daily rituals are often shaped by what's going to gain the most approval from others. Maybe that's through compliments or social media engagement, or really just to fit into what other people see as being desirable. She believes that looking good is the key to feeling good, but because her sense of attractiveness is so dependent on outside affirmation and this external validation, then she may struggle with self-worth when she does not meet those external expectations. That woman, on the other hand, recognizes that attractiveness is so much more than just looking good, though looking good does matter. She definitely makes sure she looks good and she takes care of herself on the outside, but she understands that true attractiveness is a combination of not just looks, but how she carries herself, the way that she walks into a room with quiet confidence, fully knowing that she belongs there without needing to prove it. It's the way that she treats others and listens with intention and speaks with conviction because she's taken the time to know exactly what she believes. She understands that attractiveness is about her whole self. And so she looks good because she feels good, and she feels good because she's taken the time to not just take care of her outside, but to deal with everything inside as well. That girl will often push beyond her limits. That woman sets healthy boundaries and respects her time and energy. Another difference between that girl and that woman is that girl will often push herself beyond her limits, whether it be in her work, her relationships, her goals and dreams, whereas that woman sets really clear boundaries. Let's unpack this. That girl is constantly trying to prove herself. And the thing is, many times her motives are so pure. She wants to be the best. She wants to have the life of her dreams. And so she is okay putting in the hard work and fully believes that it is going to turn out to be everything that she wants it to be, or at least she hopes it does. At work, she wants to grow and be the best, whether that is climbing the corporate ladder or doing whatever it takes to become a successful entrepreneur. But she doesn't give herself that necessary time to be able to rest and to recharge, to spend time with family and friends, and she allows herself to be constantly on call. Early mornings, yes. Evenings, yes. Weekends, yes. Whatever it takes. She's willing to make it happen, and it makes her successful, at least externally, but behind the scenes, she is anxious and tired and grumpy. In a romantic life, even though she has it going on by herself, she definitely wants to spend her time with somebody. She wants to bring somebody into that because let's be real, that girl wants the dream guy. She wants to be in a romantic relationship, but in the pursuit of that, she may compromise her values or settle for situations that don't feel good, but she hopes in the future may lead to something better. And so she believes that these extreme and unsustainable approaches are the only way to be able to get to her goals because either she doesn't have enough experience or she doesn't have enough confidence to be able to stand up for herself, or a combination of the two. That woman realizes that she can get to the same end goal while setting boundaries that respect her needs. At work, she understands that sometimes she may need to stay later or extend tasks beyond what she originally intended, but she doesn't live her life in the mindset that the value that she brings is tied to pushing herself beyond her limits. And she knows that reaching the goal is so much more rewarding when it's done in a way that's not going to cause her to be burnt out. In relationships, that woman realizes that she is valuable and she has standards for how she should be treated and how she should be respected, while also being respectful to other people in return. And on that note, she respects herself. She prioritizes taking care of her physical, mental, and emotional well-being. She treats herself to nice things. She sees herself as special, not as better than, but definitely not less than. She knows that she is worthy and deserving of love and kindness and respect. And because of that, she sees when there are people and situations and mindsets that are not serving her, and is willing to make the hard choices in the short term in order to benefit who she is and who she's working to be for her future. That girl believes that having it together is a final destination. That woman understands and embraces that growth is a lifelong journey. That girl is waiting for the moment when she has it together, and she very much believes in fake it until you make it because she's keeping up with what she thinks it means to have it together. She feels like she needs to pretend to be something that she's not for however long it takes for her to get to her goals and her dreams, because there's going to be the day when she graduates into this phase of life where it's like, oh, I have it together. And she will push and push and push until she gets there, not ever realizing that there is an unattainable destination. However, that woman realizes and owns that growth is the destination. She's always growing, always learning, always figuring out how to do life better, not because she's looking for the approval of others, but because she knows the joy in life is continuing to learn, continuing to grow, continuing to become better, continuing to figure out things. But with that, she doesn't feel like she has to know everything. She doesn't feel like she has to have it all figured out, because there is no way to have it all figured out. In fact, the more she grows, the more she levels up, the more she realizes that it's like, oh, I don't know everything, and that's okay. Funny story, in getting my PhD, I became the most confident in saying, I don't know. I realized that I had gotten to a place where right now, having all of the degrees gone as high as I can in school, I am the most confident in being able to say, I don't know. If somebody asks me a question, like, I don't know. That is a great question. Let me figure out the answer to it. But at the start of my PhD program, in my head, I thought that people felt like I should know all of these things that I didn't know. And I would just try to make up an answer and come up with something that made some sense, even if it didn't, because I didn't know how to not know. Anyway, that is such a tangent. Realizing those things was a huge eye opener for me, and it made sense why trying to be that girl didn't fit for my life. As long as my metric of success was what looked good on paper and what I thought other people would think, oh, this makes Christy successful, it felt so impossible to reach because I hadn't gotten clear on who I was, what I needed, what I wanted, and the plans that God had for my life. But once I did, I transitioned into that woman so quickly. Again, being that girl is a start. And it's a really good start, but the goal is to become that woman. Now, I would love to hear from you, so I need you to drop me a comment and let me know, what does it mean to you to be that woman? And then what is one change that you are making to step into her today? If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, I would really appreciate it if you would give it a like. Also, if you're not subscribed, like, what are you doing? I'm gonna need you to jump on that. Alrighty, my loves, thanks for joining, and I will see you in my next. Bye for now.